I'm Kristina from Bookworm Dreams and welcome to a new video. So today I will be talking about my wrap up for January, which is huge and which is why Maya and I have decided to separate our wrap ups, because I have, if we count all of the volumes of comics that I've read, like 19 things to talk about, but roughly 11 if I don't count those. So let's just get started. The first thing I want to talk to you about is Bloom by Kevin Panetta and Savannah Ganushon. So this is a comic that basically tells the story of Ari, who is a teenager and works at his father's bakery, and Hector, who is a bit older than him, comes to work at the shop, and it's a story about their relationship and how it evolves and how Ari grows up. The style, the colors were just beautiful. They were like hues of blues and grays. It was really interesting to like read in this kind of almost what is it, bichromatic, dichromatic blue, I don't know, but like in two colors, and it was really gorgeous. However, what put the story down was the fact that Ari was so immature and so mean towards his parents and towards Hector, who was always very caring and understanding and very lovely. The scenes between them while they were baking were very cute. However, besides those scenes, there was nothing really to make me believe their romance. Because it felt almost like it happened behind the scenes and I didn't get to see it, so it kind of put down the book for me. But overall, it was an okay read, although if you don't like immature young adults, maybe don't pick it up. But I think it's worth for the style, because it's really beautiful and I haven't seen a comic done like this before, so that's, I guess, a plus. The next thing I want to talk to you about is the entire Saga series, so the entire 9 volumes that are out so far. So this is the story about Alana and Marco, who are from Warring Planets, and they kind of fall in love, have a child, and they're on the run because everybody kind of wants to get rid of them because they're getting in the way of this war, which I guess has to continue. And I absolutely loved this comic. It was probably one of the best I've read so far. It had engaging characters, both good, bad, and side characters. You could perfectly see their motivation, their character, their personality. So it was brilliant. I loved Alana and Marco's daughter Hazel as the narrator, because she keeps giving you hints of what's about to come, so it keeps you very interested and intrigued to follow on, to carry on and just continue reading. So I'm just really interested in kind of finding out what happens next after 9 volumes, because she put in some hints, like maybe in the 3rd volume, that haven't been solved yet. So I really want to know. And I absolutely loved it. There's a lot of trigger warnings in this one, so blood, loss of a parent, sex, different kind. There's a lot of gore. I don't know what else did I have? Mutilation, abortion, loss of a child. So there's a lot going on. So, you know, just keep that in mind, and I'll just show you the art style so you can see how it looks like. Just here's a snippet of it so you can see. So yes, I highly recommend this one. I absolutely adored it. Then we have the Network Effect by Martha Wells, which is the 5th installment in the Murderbot series, and I really liked it. In this part we get to kind of see more of the relationship between Murderbot and Art and see how it develops, and it was just brilliant. The middle part, where you actually get the intrigue and what's happening at that particular kind of event, which I can't tell you about, kind of went over my head, but I believe that is because I was listening the book on audio, and I had it at like double speed without reading the physical book, so it kind of just, there were so many technical kind of things that it just went over my head. However, it still had very good intrigue, and just Murderbot as a character is just so freaking engaging. Then you just don't care maybe even about what's happening. You just want to hear how Murderbot reacts, and that's what I love about these books. And I can't wait for the next one in the series, because I just want to see where Murderbot goes, because this book really kind of set the bar high in terms of what might happen next. So I'm really, really intrigued to see. In addition to Network Effect, I also read two short, not even novellas, not even short stories, just like flash fictions for the Murderbot series. One is compulsory, that is zero point 0.5, and that is basically like just flash fiction. It's like 2 pages, almost like an introduction into Murderbot and what Murderbot is about. Murderbot is, cynical and hateful towards people, although, is it hateful towards people? You don't? You see that maybe it has issues with its relationship with people. And then we have Home, Habitat, Range, Niche, Territory. So this is a short story that is written from the perspective of, oh my god, the doctor, professor, person who, let's say, saved Murderbot. I can't remember her name right now. Oh my gosh, I can't remember her name, but Murderbot's point of view is just a bit more interesting than this one. However, it's a really good go-between, just between the fourth and fifth installment in the series, because it just explains some things that have happened in between and help you understand the fifth book a bit better. Then we move on to a bit of urban fantasy, and that is Magic Rises by Ilona Andrews. This is the 7th book in the Kate Daniels series. I think it's the 7th, but oh my god, it might be the 6th. I'll put it somewhere here. Anyways, I absolutely love this book, because here Kate and Karan, let's say Karan, get to go to Europe, and like this change of scenery after 5 books is actually quite brilliant, because it puts a new kind of dynamic on their relationship and Kate's relationship with the pack, and it was absolutely interesting. It had a very good mystery element to it, which I absolutely adored, and I just can't wait to see how it develops further. I can see why people tend to say that some of Kate's actions didn't really correspond to her character, or Karan's even, but I kind of just, it didn't bug me as much. So just be aware of that. But otherwise, it was just, again, like fun, interesting. There was intrigue, there was a lot of new characters, some discussion about Kate's powers, and I absolutely loved it. Then we get to one of the most heart-wrenching and at the same time heartwarming books that I've read this month, and that is Harbor Me by Jacqueline Woodson. I saw this book and other Woodson's books at That's So Poe, Shannon from That's So Poe. So this is the story about 6 children who meet in the so-called art room, a room to talk, which is a room where they can express their feelings, talk about their life, just about anything basically, without the presence of anyone else there. So no adults, no teachers, just children and how they're experiencing life. These are 11-year-olds, and the topics that this book discusses are just, it felt like topics that such children shouldn't be dealing with, and they encompass everything from deportation, not feeling comfortable using the language of the country where you live, guns, being privileged, being rich, bullying. What else did I see here? Imprisonment, loss of a parent. So so many topics covered in such a short book, and I can't even describe how wonderful it was. I just flew through it. It's so easy to read, and just the emotions and the topics that it talks about are really just difficult, especially when you take into consideration that these are kids. And the kids are so very diverse, both in terms of like nationality, race, I don't know, sensitivities, just such a diverse range of characters. I absolutely adored it. So we're almost to the end, and I have a book that was sold, marketed as a romance book, and that is In 5 Years by Rebecca Searle. So I got this book in a book box. I will link the unboxing up above. It was a Croatian book box, and actually I'm very happy that I got it because I absolutely love the story. Now, first off, the book is marketed so wrongly. Just like, this is not for anyone who is expecting a romance novel. This is not a romance novel. This is a novel about friendship. This is about like one's relationship with their best friend. And it's a story about trauma, about illness, about dealing with difficult events in your life. And that is the one thing that I absolutely adored in this book. Although the characters at times really do feel a bit flat, especially the side characters, which kind of even give off the feeling that they are just there for the sake of being there, for the sake of kind of furthering the plot, which, you know, is on the one side a bad thing. On the other side, they are not what's important in this book. What's important is the relationship between our main character and her best friend, and I think that was really portrayed lovely, just in a very lovely way. Their relationship, their story just got me so incredibly emotional. I believe that's because what happens here is one of my biggest absolute fears in life, and that's why I basically cried the last 70 pages of the book or something like that. One thing I'll say, I don't think the whole magical realism aspect of it was necessary. It did create like an interesting plot line, but I don't think it was in the grand scheme of things necessary, because it forces the romance side of marketing, and I think it should have been marketed just as like a friendship relationship storyline, and I think that would have been brilliant. I think a lot of people just give a lower score because they didn't get what they expected to get. So yeah, what can I say? I see the flaws, but I really don't care because it just got me so emotional that I can't say that for me this was anything but a really good book. And finally, I'm just gonna give you a bit of a teaser. I read Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas and Upright Women Wanted by Sarah Gailey. Oh, they're both named Sarah. Interesting. Anyways, this is just a teaser because Maya and I will have reviews of both of those books at some point on this channel, so I won't talk to you a lot about them, but I liked both of them equally, so I think they're gonna be positive reviews. And that is it. Please like, share, subscribe. Talk to me down below in the comments. In the description box, you'll have some links to, important events that are happening in the world nowadays. And that is it. Press the bell button if you want to get notifications whenever we post new videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in our next video. Bye!